How's everybody doing? Hope you all are doing well and wonderful and blessed. Was watching a TV show. It's a very popular TV show. The show just came out, so I saw the ratings of it being high. I don't want to say what the actual number rating is, because then you might guess what the show is, or you're probably going to guess it anyway. This particular show, though, is a very interesting show to say the least. I'll let you kind of determine if you know what I'm talking about. I'm at your own leisure and will in regards to that. So I started watching a couple episodes of the show. I think I'm about on episode 3 or 4. And after the third or fourth episode, because I'm not quite sure on which one I ended off on, I was sitting there watching it, and then at the end of it, I was thinking to myself, wow, I don't think anything positive has happened in this TV show at all. I think that what I've noticed that everything about the show has been negative and had negative connotations, meaning the surrounding and the plot of it all, in the circumstances and the situations that people were going through and acting out, all had negative connotations attached to it and assigned to it, which, I was able to pick that up and was like, had to ask myself and be honest with myself, like, why exactly am I watching the show? And so I just kind of wanted to come share that with you all very briefly, while still yet encouraging you in the same token. The Bible talks about it's not what goes in a man that defiles him. In man, we're going to use that interchangeably as well. So man and woman. So it's not what goes in a man or a woman that defiles them. It's what comes out of them that does the defiling, which in essence, to break that down into layman's terms, meaning in today's terms, it's what shapes and what makes and what molds the personality or the character of an individual. So what that's basically saying is kind of like when what your eating habits. So when you go and a person wants to lose weight, so they hire an exercise coach or a fitness instructor to help educate them and guide them on what it means to get in shape and lose weight. So when that happens, the very first thing that the instructor or the coach is going to ask the individual is, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve out of working with me? And what exactly can I help you with? And so after you get finished answering that question, that coach and that instructor is not going to start you with what exercises he wants to put you on. He or she is going to start you and tell you and explain to you and I about what eating regimens, what dieting things, what things we need to be putting inside of our bodies. Because it's not the effort that we're going to be giving. We got to start with what we're putting inside of our bodies. Because what we put inside of our bodies, that ultimately causes what we do on the outside. That causes our activity. For example, if we sit and we eat a bunch of red meat all day and drink sodas and any type of alcohol, if you think about it, if you've ever been in that state, you're going to be lazy. You're going to be sluggish. You're going to be slothful. You're not going to feel like doing anything after eating that particular way. Again, why? Because it's not what goes in a man, it's what comes out of him. So because of the fact that we put red meat in our bodies all day, that red meat is going to sit on us and cause us to not want to do anything else. We won't exercise. We won't work out. We won't do anything physically or mentally challenging, because we're going to be almost in a comatose state based off of what we put inside of our bodies. And now what comes out of our bodies is going to be that benefactor of the slothfulness, of the laziness, of the, oh no, I'm too tired, of the, I don't feel like it, I'm not doing it today, maybe another day. And if we're not careful, we'll keep putting off those things that are a necessity for us to live our lives in a beneficial way, not only for ourselves, but for others as well. For those of us that have children, for example, if your child is trying to get involved in sports and they need somebody to practice while they're at home, and you don't feel like throwing the football, or you don't feel like shooting the basketball. Why? Because you feel sluggish, because of the things that you're putting inside of your body. It's causing you to not want to have it's causing you to have very minimal movement and activity in order to express the functionality of the limbs that God has gifted and blessed you and I to have in order to participate in practicing and throwing the football with your children, or whatever the case of the sport may be for that instance. And what I mean by that is that, and if you also if you put protein in your body, if you eat correctly, if you eat fresh things, and this is not a food type of video, I'm just using this as a precursor to show an example, kind of what I'm talking about in regards to the intake versus outtake, and then the outtake versus intake. So just stay with me. And so if you put protein in your body, if you drink a lot of water, by putting protein in your body, by putting nutrients and vitamins into your body, it's going to give you what's called energy. And when you get more energy and you put it inside your body, it's going to cause you to act out and live out that energy, that newfound energy that you found by eating and drinking the right things. So now you'll have that energy to play football, to play catch with your children or friends or family, whoever that case may be. You'll have that energy to, go that extra mile and to go for a walk and to walk the dog, or just that energy to do whatever, just to live life the way that life was intended to be, because a lot of our emphasis and focus on life is just material possession, when the focus should just be on our health. And in order to focus on our health, we got to monitor what goes in our cells, because that's eventually what comes out of us. All right, so enough of that. So back to the TV show. I was just using that as an example. And so within that TV show, I really had to be careful, maybe because something in me, to be honest with you, was glued to the TV show for like the first 3 or 4 episodes that I saw. And I had to ask myself, okay, D'Angelo, why exactly were you glued to the TV show when you sat here and said that at the end of it so far, you have gotten nothing positive out of it, but yet you were glued to it? And I thought that was profound, because it took me on a soul searching thing as well. What inside of me is still yearning, or maybe leaning to, or still enticed by the things that this show was providing. For an example, this show had a lot of exotic cars on it. I love exotic vehicles. I love looking at them. I love watching them. The show had the interior design on the show was just, oh my goodness, top tier. It was just absolutely amazing. Everything in there, the artwork looked expensive. The furniture, the design, the colors of the painting on the wall, the houses and things like that. It was just so enticing, and everything looked so beautiful that it's almost like it can suck and draw you in. And so I have to be careful when watching something like that. And we have to be careful, because now as I'm watching that, I'm processing, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to get it? And in that show, also with all these materials, and the show is very unique as well, because what I notice is that the show surrounds you with all these beautiful things, but yet the character of the people were horrific. They were being deceitful toward each other. They were being jealous toward one another. There was a lot of violence in the show. There's a lot of abuse in the show. There was a lot of stripper activity in the show. There were women walking around naked. There was just a lot of subjective things in the show. There was a lot of bitterness. There was a lot of cursing toward one another. I mean, it's amazing, because you had all the activity and the characteristics of those negative things that I just mentioned, which involved people, right? But the material possessions of the show were immaculate. And that, brothers and sisters, is what you call deception. Now, I can't sit here and tell you whether or not to watch the show, which is why I'm not going to name the name of the show, because I had to catch myself and ask myself, D'Angelo, why are you watching the show? What are positive things? I mean, literally nothing positive has come out of the first 3 or 4 episodes that I've watched so far, other than the fact that I'm seeing all these negative things, and my manhood is, I'm taking all that in, right? Because again, it's not what goes in a man that defiles him, but it's what comes out of him. So I'm taking all those negative things in, because I'm a human being, which means I naturally and physically live on this earth, but I want tangible things, right? But since I'm a human, I'm identifying and adapting to the nature of the actors and actresses in the TV show. And what did I say those characteristics were? jealousy, deceit, abusiveness, talking crazy to each other, trying to get over on one another, seeing who can cut each other down. I mean, nothing positive at all, at all. And I'm still stuck to and glued to it because I'm enticed. I was enticed by the things that presented to be beautiful. And that's what traps a lot of us, brothers and sisters. Beauty to me may not be beauty to you. So you define what's beautiful to you. And you got to really sit in with yourself and ask yourself, is this for my good or is this for my bad? Is this bringing positivity in my life or is this bringing negativity? And the crazy thing about watching that TV show, I was watching it late at night, right? And then that night I had two wild dreams. Two wild dreams. And I'm like, I woke up, what in the world? Why was I dreaming about that? About violence. When I live a peaceful life and I'm sitting here dreaming about violence. Because it's what I took in the night before, brothers and sisters. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him, but it's what comes out of him. And if I'm not careful and bring what I've been watching, what I'm listening to, and what I view into subjection, pulling down that stronghold, if we are not careful, we'll find ourselves living out that very thing that we need to stay far away from. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to end it right there. I hope this helps and blesses someone as it blessed me. Have a